handle this.
Welcome to this training on starting up the F-18. In some missions, you will find yourself in a cold and dark F-18 that you will need to bring to life. While this
Oh.
can be a rather long process as described in the manual, you can also enable the auto start function. However, for this lesson, we'll
I
review
read that
the
ass.
full startup procedure. Press spacebar when you're ready to get started.
That's good enough. That'll do. Yeah.
The first thing we need to do is enable the two batteries.
Oh,
This
there's
will allow operation of the canopy and power the engine igniters. You'll also notice that the integrated fuel and engine indicator, or IFE, in the lower left portion of the instrument panel will have power.
Uh-huh.
Move the battery switch to the up or on position with a right mouse button click.
The F-18 has two fire detection circuits, A and B, that test for fire in the engine's auxiliary power unit and bleed air system.
Uh-huh.
Before we go into detail on that, though, check that the hydraulic brake pressure gauge for the wheel brakes shows at least 3,000 psi. Confirm this by looking at the gauge, which is located to the left and up from the highlighted fire test switch.
What? Oh.
Okay,
Looks
now
good.
put the spring-loaded fire test switch in the up test A position and keep holding it up to test the A circuits. To do this, place the mouse over the fire test switch and hold down the right mouse button. Keep holding the mouse button down
I
and
want to drink my
release it
Monster.
until it runs through all the fire test audio warnings. In addition to the audio warning,
We will now do the same thing for the B circuit. After waiting 10 seconds, place the mouse over the fire test switch and hold down the left mouse button to move the switch in the down test B
Why don't you
position.
start with that?
Keep holding it down and then release it once all the fire warning audio messages have been played. Well done. Press spacebar.
Can I
Good
skip that?
job. Note that in the top
I
left
guess I
portion
can.
of the IFE, you can see the RPM and temp of both the left and right engines. These will be important for when we start the engine.
Yes, I know.
We will now turn on the auxiliary power unit, or APU.
I turned
This
on.
is a small, self-contained engine that augments the bleed air system and will start turning the engines for engine starts. Place the APU control switch in the up or on position with the left mouse button click.
I already
Once
did
the
it.
green light next to the APU switch comes on, move the engine crank switch to its right position, marked by the R, with a right mouse button click.
Yay.
This will allow the APU to power the Air Turbine Starter, or ATS, which in turn allows the aircraft mounted accessory drive, or AMAD, to start turning the fan blades within the right engine. Once the right engine RPM has reached 20%, as indicated on the IFE, move the right throttle from off to idle by pressing right shift home. This in turn will introduce fuel into the engine combustion chamber and start the igniters. Once the right engine RPM has reached 60%, the right engine start cycle is complete and the right generator is automatically engaged.
We're
Once
good.
at 60%, press spacebar. When we conducted the tests of the A and B fire test circuits, we also closed the bleed air shutoff valves. We need to reopen these by rotating the bleed air knob clockwise 360 degrees, from norm to norm. Do this by right mouse button clicking on the outer portion of the knob. When done, press spacebar. With the right engine running and generator power on, place the left and right digital display indicators, or DDIs, to the day position using right mouse button clicks on both brightness selector knobs. Next, rotate the HUD symbology brightness control knob clockwise by placing your mouse over it and rotating your mouse wheel forward. Once you see video displayed on the left and right DDIs and HUD, press spacebar.
Got it.
In the lower center of the instrument panel is the multi-purpose color display, or MPCD. Rotate the power and brightness control knob to the full bright setting by placing your mouse over the knob and rotating your mouse wheel forward. It will take a few moments to power on.
Hey.
Press spacebar once you see video displayed on the MPCD. On the left DDI, press the menu push button to bring up the support page.
Okay. Now what?
The support page has several sub-pages like the checklist, engine, fuel, ADI, and HSI. For now, though, press the FCS push button to select the flight control system page. The FCS page shows the status of the control surfaces and any detected FCS errors. The X's indicate detected errors, but we will address those once the left engine is started.
That's a lot of
You should not
errors.
see any 2, R, or FADEC caution messages along the bottom of the left DDI. Note that by default, you will not have the built-in test or bit page on the right DDI. We'll come back to this. During this lesson and future lessons, you will often see and hear the master caution.
Shh.
This
Hush.
is the large yellow labeled button on the instrument panel that
Having some issues here. Medium.
will light when any caution condition is triggered. There will also be an accompanying deedle sound to draw your attention. Press this button or click on it to acknowledge the caution and extinguish the light. Press the master caution again to restack the caution and advisory notices along the bottom of the left DDI. Cautions will be along the top and advisories in smaller text along the bottom. If the left DDI is not on, then the caution and advisories will be displayed on another display. By default, though, they will be on the left DDI.
Oh, no wonder it's so loud.
The F-18 comes equipped with an inertial navigation system, or INS. Use right mouse clicks to set the INS switch located on the sensor panel
To nav?
G&D, ground position. This will start and...
Now it is time to crank the left engine. Go ahead and move the engine crank switch to its left position, labeled L. By left mouse click. Once the left engine is at 20% RPM, as indicated on the IFE,
then we press...
move the left throttle from off to idle by pressing right Alt home. This will add fuel to the engine and start the igniters. When the left engine is at 60% RPM, press spacebar to continue.
It's at 30, 40, 50, and we're good.
On the FCS page, we have quite a few X's indicating abnormal FCS readings. To clear these, press and hold the FCS reset button.
Yep. Smell that center one. You've lost me. Oh.
Located in the back of the left console is the panel for the onboard oxygen generation system,
Got it.
OBOGs. Go ahead and set the OBOG switch to its up-on position. To the left of the INS switch is the radar switch. Set this switch to the operate position using your right mouse button. Don't worry, the radar will be in silent mode. You won't microwave the ground crew.
Aww. Move it to the what position?
Our next step will be to run a bit on the flight control system, or FCS. Before doing so, set the flaps to the up auto position with the F key, or 2 right mouse button clicks on the flap switch. We'll now run a bit of the flight control system. This moves the control surfaces to their limits to test for any software or mechanical errors. First, select the FCS bit page from the bit page on the right DDI. To run the FCS bit, We'll need to activate 2 controls at the same time. While holding up on the FCS bit switch on the right wall, press the FCS push button on the right DDI. Upon doing so, you'll see the controls being cycled on both the FCS DDI page, and if you look outside the cockpit, you can watch the wing and tail control surfaces moving.
That's pretty cool. I thought they just tested that before they launched. Go. We're all good. This thing is a bitch to start up. We're good to go. Good? Hello? Am I stuck? I mean, hypothetically, that's all I really need to know. Because, engine's on. Oh, excuse me. Uh-oh. Hey, they're all gone. Huh? Is that it? Oh, parking brake. Ah. I mean, that's really all I need to know. Huh? Oh, that's the runway over there, isn't it? Mm-hmm. Yep. Oh, slow down. Call the ball. Well, flaps are on, so it should be fine. Oh, yeah. And we're good. That's the hook. That's the gear. Got radar left. I'm gonna call that successful. Yeah. Okay, so that's that. Taxi takeoff. I already know how to do that. Not gonna worry about that. Not gonna worry about that. VFR airfield straighten landing. Go to landing. VFR. It's also useful for IFR. Who needs IFR? Okay.
In previous lessons, we learned how to take off and navigate, but what goes up must come down. In this lesson, we'll go over the basics of landing at an airfield in visual flight rules conditions using a straight-in approach. This will also be useful for the later instrument flight rules landing lesson. I currently have the lesson paused as I want to first outline the basics of an airfield VFR straight-in approach. Before flying this lesson, please make sure you are familiar with the HUD symbology as described in the manual and first lesson.
Speed,
Press
altitude.
spacebar to continue.
Fuck, but I know what the other things do.
We'll start the approach 11 miles out at 3,000 feet barometric and 260 knots on approach to runway 07 Echo Balletti. Once at 5 miles, you will be at 1,500 feet, and this will place you on a 3-degree glide path to the runway. To measure your glide path angle, reference your velocity vector on the HUD in relation to the...
You're saying too many things that I don't understand.
Flight path is standard for an FA-18 landing. For a straight-in approach, we will keep the HUD...
After the lesson is unpaused, reduce your throttle to idle and fly through the gates ahead. Once your airspeed is below 250 knots, lower the landing gear by moving the landing gear control handle down. Do this by left-clicking the handle or by pressing the G key. Also lower the flaps to fold down by moving the flap switch in the down full position, either by left-clicking on the switch twice or pressing left control F. Once the gear and flaps are down, keep flying through the gates and get the aircraft to an on-speed angle of attack. This is the proper AOA that will achieve the correct hook angle to catch the target wire of the carrier.
I'm sorry,
you
carrier?
will want an angle of attack of 8.1 degrees, which will place the velocity vector on the HUD in the center of the E bracket. Additionally,
that's that
your
thing.
angle of attack target of 8.1 degrees is indicated by the AOA indexer lights to the left of the HUD frame. When at the on-speed AOA, the center yellow circle will be illuminated.
Yep.
Use the throttle to adjust your glide path and pitch trim to adjust AOA when the flaps are down.
I don't want to do trim.
Use the first part of this flight to practice stabilized on-speed flight. Press spacebar to continue. When you're ready, press spacebar and I will unpause the lesson.
Hold on, I want to see... Okay. Oh, and we're in. Okay, reduce throttle to idle. Watch the airspeed. 300. Passing 300. So I have two rudder pedals. I have rudder pedals on my feet that I can kick, and then I have rudder pedals technically on my throttle that I can kick. Okay, you said after 250?
Being below 250 knots, Go ahead and lower your landing gear and drop the flaps to full.
Nope. Nope.
Reduce your airspeed by setting the throttles to idle.
Nope.
You may also wish to extend your speed brake by using the speed brake
there we
switch
go.
on the right throttle grip, or by pressing left shift B to get slower more quickly. Note the SPD BRK light on the instrument panel when the speed brake is extended.
Holy
As you slow
shit.
below 140 knots, retract the speed brake by using the speed brake switch or pressing left control B.
I don't remember which
Adjust
one
the throttle
my
and stick
speed
trim.
brake is.
At this point, you should be on speed with an angle of attack of 8.1 degrees, indicated by the velocity vector in the center of the E bracket on the hood.
Oh shit, stall.
Use throttle input to adjust your glide path such that the E bracket is positioned over the runway threshold. Use pitch trim to keep on-speed AOA. You should now be on a 3-degree glide path down the runway.
It's alright, I'll be right. It's fine. Keep the airspeed alive. We're gonna try and stay at 150. The ball is in my hand. I am touching the ball. Call the ball.
Maintain on-speed AOA, and your glide path should be aligned with the runway threshold.
We're going too fast. Reduce speed. Reduce speed more. We're too high. Reduce speed. Uh-huh. Yep. I know.
Maintain on-speed AOA and fly the aircraft onto the
Stall.
runway with a vertical velocity of no more
Stall.
than 750 feet per minute.
Stall.
As displayed over the HUD altitude indication. Do not flare. Once the nose wheel comes down, use the rudder to keep the aircraft centered down the runway, and use the wheel
do I?
brakes to bring her to a halt.
Uh-huh. Well, I'm too high. Oh, we're about to put it down. Oh, we're about to put it down. Nope, nope, nope. Oh, shit. Yeah, no, that's a 2 standard landing, actually. I forget that this is a naval aircraft.
Well done. You can end the lesson now by pressing the escape
Oh. Oh. That's a okay. Yeah. All right. Pattern instrument carrier. Carrier. This is where I died. I'm a pilot, but I'm not that kind of a pilot.
We will learn to taxi to an aircraft carrier catapult and take off in this lesson. In a previous lesson, we learned how to start up the F-18. When starting on a carrier, the only significant difference will be that you will set the INS switch to CV, or aircraft carrier, instead of ground during the inertial navigation system alignment. So we will just focus on the taxi and takeoff from a carrier in this lesson. Looking out of the cockpit to the right is the bow of the aircraft carrier, and catapults 1 to the right and catapult 2 to the left are located here.
Well, there's also 3 and 4, but
Running from the bottom on the checklist page. Arm the ejection seat. Check that nose restraint is on.
how do you
No
arm it?
warning lights. Hook is up. Flaps are
Armed.
set to half.
Or no?
Trim set to the total aircraft
Whoa,
weight.
whoa, whoa! Hold on,
Wings
hold on.
match
Shush.
Wing fold handle. Oxygen on. Brakes off. Launch bar up. Anti-skid off. Master arm off. From the MPCD, select WTPT and cycle to waypoint 1. Countermeasures off. Radar altimeter to 40 feet. Canopy closed.
Yep.
Master external light switch aft.
Fuck if I
When
know.
all set, press spacebar to continue.
Arm the ejection sheet. Ejection sheet is armed. Check that the nose wheel steering is on. Is it on? Yes, we're good. Hook is up. Hook is up. Flaps are set to half. Yes, that is true. Wings match fold. Yep, wings are up. Brake is off. This. Yes, that's true. Brake is off. Oxygen is on. Oxygen is on. Launch bar is up. I don't know what that is, so I'm going to say yes, it's up. Anti-skid off. Yes. Master arm is off. I don't know what that is, so I'm going to say yeah. Oh, wait. Is that... it's off. From the MCPD, so that is this thing. Select a waypoint and cycle to waypoint 1. Waypoint sensors menu main waypoint. Waypoint 1. Got it. Radar and altimeter set to 40 feet. Where is my altimeter? Altimeter. Wait, radar altimeter. Hold on, wait a minute. That is not the right thing. It's on off. Master light, I don't know. We're good.
Directly to our right is a large yellow rectangle painted on the deck.
That is...
This is the Jet Blast Deflector, or JBD, for Catapult 2. This will redirect our engine exhaust once we power up for takeoff. Normally, you will spread your wings when positioned behind the JBD, but before you taxi over it to the Catapult shuttle. Because we are already nearly behind the JBD for Catapult 2, spread the wings using the wing fold handle by your right knee, or press right shift
hey.
Control O. 5 seconds after the wings are fully spread, stow the handle with the O key. When they are down and the wing fold handle matches the wing position, press spacebar.
Hey.
Before taxiing forward, hold down the nose wheel steering button or press S. This will keep the nose wheel steering in high gain and allow us to make tighter turns on a crowded deck. This is indicated as NWS high on the HUD. If you have the wings folded, you do not need to hold down the nose wheel steering button to enable NWS high. Slowly increase the throttle while inputting full right rudder. Make sure you are in nose wheel steering high to make the very sharp turn to Catapult 2 to your right. As you taxi over the JBD, align the nose of the aircraft straight down the catapult track.
Yep.
Once aligned directly down the catapult track, slowly and carefully roll forward until the nose wheel is just behind the catapult shuttle. The catapult shuttle is attached to the catapult and is used to launch you down the catapult track. To get the nose just behind the shuttle, you can either use the F2 external view or align the catapult shuttle off catapult 1 to be directly off to your right. Press spacebar when aligned on the catapult and the nose wheel is just behind the catapult 2 shuttle.
You're good. You're good. good. You're good. Good.
The launch bar on the nose wheel landing gear strut will connect the aircraft to the catapult shuttle. Lower the launch bar by left-clicking on the switch by your left knee labeled launch bar. With the launch bar down, press U to better align the aircraft on the catapult track and shuttle and attach the holdback. This will also raise the JBD behind you. You can use external F2 view to confirm that the launch bar is attached. Once attached, move the launch bar switch to the raised position. Press spacebar on the launch bar to Now ready for the tech shower. Increase throttle and military power. Wipe the controls by inputting full pitch and roll on the stick and full rudder deflections on the rudder. Go to full power and initiate the catapult stroke.
I think I did something wrong. Uh-oh. 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 You didn't see anything.
We will learn to taxi to an aircraft carrier catapult and take off in this lesson. In a previous lesson, we learned how to start up the F-18. When starting on a carrier, the only significant difference will be that you will set the INS switch to CV, or aircraft carrier,
13,
instead
14,
of
15,
ground
16,
during
17.
the
I
initial
recall.
navigation system alignment. So we will just focus on the taxi and takeoff from a carrier in this lesson. Looking out of the cockpit to the right is the bow
Hold
of
on,
the
let me
aircraft
read this
carrier,
thing.
and catapults 1 to the right and catapult 2 to the left are located here. Looking ahead and a bit to our left are the waist catapults of numbers 3 and 4. In this lesson, we will taxi to, get hooked up to, and take off from catapult 2. As you may have noticed, catapult 1 is currently blocked by parked aircraft. Before taxiing forward, we will need to set our trim based on our total aircraft weight. You can find this on the checklist page from the support menu. It's located in the A/C WT aircraft weight line. As you can see, our bird weighs just 46,600 and change.
What?
If
What are we talking
below
about?
44,000 pounds, set 16 degrees of stab trim. If between 44 and 40.
I'm not really
Running from
listening.
the bottom on the checklist page.
We're
Arm
all
the
good.
ejection
Launch
seat.
bar is up.
Check
Yep.
that nose wheel steering is on. No
Safe.
warning lights. Hook is up. Flaps are set to half. Trim set to the total aircraft weight. Wings match wing fold handle. Oxygen on.
Yep.
Brakes off.
Yep.
Launch bar up.
On.
Anti-skid off. Master
Now we're
arm
off.
off. From the MPCD, select WTPT and cycle to waypoint 1. Countermeasures
Do need
off.
to do that.
Radar altimeter to 40 feet. Canopy closed. Master external light switch aft. When all set, press spacebar to continue. Directly to our right is a large yellow rectangle painted on the deck. This is the Jet Blast Deflector, or JBD, for Catapult 2. This will redirect our engine exhaust once we power up for takeoff. Normally, you will spread your wings when positioned behind the JBD, but before you taxi over it to the Catapult shuttle. Because we are already nearly behind the JBD for Catapult 2, spread the wings using the wing fold handle by your
yeah,
right
spread them.
Or press right shift and right control O. 5 seconds after the wings are fully spread, stow the handle with the O key.
We're good.
When they are down and the wing fold handle matches the wing position,
look, it's the parry.
Spacebar. Before taxiing forward, hold down the nose wheel steering button or press S. This will keep the nose wheel steering in high gain and allow us to make tighter turns on a crowded deck. This is indicated as NWS high on the HUD. If you have the wings folded, you do not need to hold down the nose wheel steering button to enable NWS high. Slowly increase the throttle while inputting full right rudder. Make sure you are in nose wheel steering high to make the very sharp turn to Catapult 2 to your right. As you taxi over the JBD, align the nose of the aircraft straight down the catapult track. Once aligned directly down the catapult track, slowly and carefully roll forward until the nose wheel is just behind the catapult shuttle. The catapult shuttle is attached to the catapult and is used to launch you down the catapult track. To get the nose just behind the shuttle, you can either use the F2 or align the catapult.
I can't hear anything. Done.
The launch bar on the nose wheel landing gear strut will connect the aircraft to the catapult shuttle. Lower the launch bar by left-clicking on the switch by your left knee.
What?
This will also raise the
I'm pressing you. Why is nothing happening? Oh, press. I'm so stupid.
You're now ready for the cat shot.
I was pressing Y.
Throttles to military power. Wipe the controls by inputting full pitch and roll on the stick and full rudder deflections on the rudder. When ready, go to full power and initiate.
Oh yeah.
Stroke. Airborne. Roll to the right and quickly raise your landing gear and flaps and accelerate to 300 knots. When taking off from cats 1 and 2, you will perform a starboard clearing turn, and when launching from the waist cats, you'll perform a port clearing turn.
Oh shit, sorry, to the right.
20 degrees from the carrier bearing, turn back to parallel the carrier's bearing and keep your altitude below 500 feet until 7 miles from the carrier. This is to keep you out of the way of returning traffic.
Hush.
Press escape to conclude this lesson.
There we go. That was better. Okay, ooh. This is not gonna go well. This is definitely not gonna go well.
Today we will perform a Case 1, Case 2 carrier landing.
This is not gonna go well.
This will be very similar to the VFR field overhead pattern.
This is not gonna go
Navy
good.
pilots land at airfields much like they do on the boat to maintain this perishable skill.
This is gonna go horribly.
In regard to a Case 2 landing, This would be the visual approach element of the landing after being guided in from the Marshall Stack CV-1 approach. Case 1 is defined as having a 3,000-foot minimum cloud ceiling and 5 nautical miles of visibility. For today's lesson, though, we are going to keep the aircraft carrier stationary, so we can provide some gates that will assist you in the pattern.
Isn't that bad?
Spacebar to Ahead of you is a series of gates that you will fly through. These are designed to instruct you on where you should be during the pattern. You will start the pattern at 800 feet and 350 knots just starboard of the boat. During this phase of the landing, lower your arrestor hook by moving the arrestor hook handle in the down position. First starting out, we will not break into the pattern until 1.5 nautical miles past the bow of the boat. This will give you plenty of time to get on speed in the downwind leg. At the break, you will make a level turn with the G of 1% of your airspeed. In this case, 3.5 G for 350 knots. As your speed decreases, relax the G to match the speed. You may need to relax or tighten the turn to roll out 1.3 to 1.4 mile abeam the boat.
What?
At 180 degrees of turn,
I'm not
level
really
out
paying
on
attention.
the downwind leg and descend to 600 feet. You should be below 250 knots. Once below 250 knots, lower your landing gear and set the flaps to full. Press spacebar to continue. Once on the downwind leg, establish yourself at 600 feet and slow the aircraft to an on-speed angle of attack of 8.1 degrees. This can most easily be seen on the HUD by keeping the velocity indicator inside the E bracket. To the left of the HUD frame are the angle of attack indexer lights. When on speed, the center donut should be lit. Use of pitch trim is very important to set on-speed AOA. Maintain on-speed angle of attack during the downwind leg. Press spacebar to continue.
Sorry. What?
Once your left wingtip is 5 seconds past the stern, begin a 30-degree bank to the left while keeping your velocity vector
Not
just
at
below
all
the horizon
paying
line
attention.
on the HUD.
What the fuck?
This will place us in a
come
steady
on.
rate of turn to the boat while descending. If the boat is moving with 25 to 30
I'm
knots
approaching the
of speed
boat.
on deck,
Oh,
start
shit.
your turn when abeam the white of the round down on the stern of the boat. Your descent rate should be 100 to 200 feet per minute, as indicated on the HUD above the altitude box. 90 degrees through this turn, your altitude should be 500 feet. Past 90 degrees of turn, your descent rate should increase to 500 feet per minute. Only use your instruments for the first 90 degrees of turn. Don't peak. Use your throttle to control your rate of turn.
Where's my fuel?
Pitch trim to control your airspeed. Press spacebar to continue. As you roll out on the landing course line, acquire the improved Fresnel lens
Are we done us?
optical landing system, or IFLOLS.
That's my fuel,
Match
isn't
your
it?
glide slope such that the center light stays centered between the two green lines. If the light moves above center, you are too high and need to reduce throttle. If the light
Are we
is
bingo?
below center, you are too low and risk a ramp strike unless you increase power. You will fly to maintain on-speed AOA while keeping the ball centered.
No, we're being good.
Prior to touchdown, do not flare the aircraft, but rather let it fly onto the boat at ideally 750 feet per minute, as indicated above your altitude on the HUD. Press spacebar to continue.
Sorry.
Before we give this a whirl, let's first set up the landing course line. Using what you learned in the TACAN lesson, set the TACAN to 74 X-ray and the carrier BRC of 350 degrees. This is the TACAN channel for the carrier, and it will provide us useful information to line up our downwind and final approach legs of the pattern. Set your HUD to show the radar altitude. To give us final notice when we should be passing over the wake of the boat when in the final turn, set the radar altimeter by your right knee to 370 feet by spinning the knob counterclockwise. Finally, set your left DDI to the HUD and your right DDI to the FCS page. Press spacebar to unpause.
FCS. Maha.
We are now flying a heading of 352 degrees and 349 knots and 1,900 feet. Fly through the gates ahead, which will place us at 800 feet and offset to the right of the boat. We don't want to directly overfly the boat, so we can first check to see if the deck is foul. Maintain an airspeed of 350 knots. Anytime you approach the carrier with the intent to land, you should do a HAIL-R check, meaning check that the hook is down and engine anti-ice heat if required. Anti-skid switch is off. ILS is boxed on the HSI when ICLS is being used. External lights are set for daytime and rad alt set to the HUD. Cage the velocity vector on the HUD by pressing the cage uncage button on the throttle or press C. Lower the arrestor hook by clicking on the lever or pressing H.
I was not paying attention to like half of that. But we are good on approach. Pew, pew, pew. Yeah, we're good. No, we're good. We're alright. We're perfectly fine. Need more airspeed. So, the one thing I know about F-18s and F-35s, especially like naval landing, is you are supposed to put this motherfucker down hard. Also, it's really hard to land on an aircraft carrier. Alright. Full flaps. Gear is... Gears down.
When at 1.5 miles from the bow, set the throttles to idle and follow the gates for a 180-degree turn into the downwind leg. The rate of turn will be based on a G that is 1% of our airspeed.
Okay.
In this case, 3.5 G for 350 knots.
This is a lot of altitude, but it's okay. It's a pretty good glide slope, so I'm not really complaining. I did not check the deck for a bow deck, by the way. I don't really see a need to check for a foul deck, because if there's a foul deck, then a call will go over the radio going, foul deck, wave off, wave off. I'm gonna put the flaps up, because the flaps are kind of a bit right now. We are good for approach. CV-74. Which aircraft carrier is that? Call the ball. Yeah, like I said, it's very hard to land on an aircraft carrier. And I don't know how they expect me to land with this kind of trajectory. I'm not really going to follow the path here. I'm going to go a little bit more out. Terrain. Yeah, you're pretty much supposed to stall the aircraft. Flaps are set to full. Good approach. Flaps at half, flaps off. Too low. Yes! Nailed it. Oh, but it did. Okay, alright, whatever. I don't even care. It didn't even notice that I landed on the... Making my way downtown, walking fast. Da, 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 da. Da, 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 da. And I need you. Da, 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 da. And I miss you. Da, 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 da. Da, 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 da. Good enough. I would call that a successful landing. Yes, yes, yes. I would call that very successful. Air to air. There's a lot of fucking... Oh, wow. We actually... Okay. No skip print.
Welcome to this train lesson on the use of the F-18's M61A2 20mm cannon. Mounted in the nose of the aircraft, it can be loaded with up to 578 rounds and has a firing rate of either 4,000 or 6,000 rounds per minute. When too close for missiles, the gun is a great option in a dogfight. I currently have the lesson paused as we talk about the air-to-air gun system. Press spacebar to continue.
To start, let's first get the AA gun set up. The easiest way to do this is by simply pressing aft on the weapon select switch, or press left shift and X. Please do so. With the AA gun selected, note that the master mode was automatically set to AA. The left DDI displays the AA gun format, the HUD is in the gun auto acquisition mode, and the right DDI is in the AA radar page with air combat maneuvering mode selected. Let's first take a closer look at the AA gun format page on the left DDI. Above the wing form, you see the number of gun rounds remaining, 578, and below that you see the state of the master arm switch. On the left side of the page you have the gun round type selection of M50 or PGU-28. You want to make sure that this selection matches what you have loaded on the aircraft. Press the M50 push button to select M50 rounds. In the bottom of the left format are push buttons for high and low gun fire rate. Low fires the gun at 4,000 rounds per minute and high fires the gun at 6,000 rounds per minute. Select the high option. With no radar radar lock on the target, you will use the lead computing optical sight, also called the funnel. Simply put, with a wingspan entered, you will fly to place the wingtips of the target's aircraft just touching the sides of the funnel. When they are, you have a good firing solution to hit the target. To enter the correct target wingspan, press the UFC push button. Our target aircraft will be a MiG-29 with a wingspan of approximately 37 feet. The top option select window is marked WSPN for wingspan. Press the option select button to the left. This will allow us to enter a target wingspan. On the UFC keypad, type in 37 and then press enter on the UFC keypad. Press spacebar when done. With that done, you will now note that the WSPN or wingspan indication in the top right portion of the AA gun format page displays 037 to the right.
Ah, yes.
Now let's take a look at the HUD. Currently, you're in the gun auto acquisition mode. This is indicated by the large dashed circle on the HUD. Also note that the selected weapon, gun, indicated near the bottom center of the HUD, and the number of rounds remaining below it. To lock up a target, simply fly to place your target within 5 miles inside the dashed circle. Until you have a target locked though, you can use the gun funnel. In addition to the gun auto acquisition mode, you also have the bore sight BST, vertical VACQ, and wide WACQ air combat maneuvering ACM modes. But we will talk about those in a separate lesson. When you are ready, press spacebar and I will unpause the lesson.
Yay!
Ahead of you are 2 drone MiG-29s. Place them within the dashed circle on the HUD to lock one of them up. Upon doing so, you now have some new information on the HUD for a locked target. You have your VC closure, velocity and target range below it on the right side of the HUD. The locked target has a target designation box or diamond around it, and an aiming reticle with a pipper in the center.
There we
Along
go.
the outside of the aiming reticle is a line that indicates maximum gun range. Fly to place the pipper in the center of the aiming reticle over the target and pull the trigger when the target is within range. When the pipper is over the target and within range, a shoot cue will appear over the target. To unlock the target, press the undesignated button on your stick, or press S.
Oh!
Good job. Now splash the second drone.
I will get right on that. I'm gonna call that a success. We technically splashed and also splashed ourselves. Sidewinders, yes. Okay, I'm gonna like not remember half of that because half of that is not really important. Just talk about locking.
In this lesson, we'll learn about how to use the AIM-9L and M versions of the venerable Sidewinder short-range infrared guided air-to-air missile. Using a cooled infrared seeker, the Sidewinder locks onto the hot elements of a target, most often the engines. Best used in close-range dogfights, the Sidewinder is a fire and forget after launch. However, the Sidewinder can be decoyed by flares and is less effective against ground clutter. Today we're looking at the L and M versions. The AIM-9L, or Lima, entered production in 1977 and was the first all-aspect homing Sidewinder, meaning it could get a lock on a target at any aspect angle. However, a rear aspect provides much better detection. The Mike, or AIM-9M, is an improved version of the Lima with better flare rejection and a reduced smoke motor. In a later lesson, we'll take a look at the AIM-9X and the joint helmet-mounted cueing system. The Sidewinder can be used on both bore sight mode and slaved to a radar-locked target. I currently have the lesson paused as we discuss some of its features. To select a Sidewinder, press down on the weapon select switch, or press left, shift, and S. Do this now.
Bro, even my phone is lagging. What the hell? I'm sorry, do what? Left shift and S.
When selected with no target locked on radar, the Sidewinder will be in boresight mode.
Ow.
This is indicated by the single reticle on the HUD that indicates the seeker line of sight. Below on the HUD, you will notice the name of the weapon, 9M in this case, and the number of missiles remaining to the right.
Oh.
To employ a Sidewinder in this mode, fly to place the reticle over a target and wait for the seeker tone to change to a higher pitch. This indicates the seeker sees and is tracking the target. You could then launch the missile by pulling the trigger or pressing the spacebar. To allow the seeker to self-track the target, press the cage-uncage button on your throttle or press C when you hear the lock tone. Once self-tracking, the seeker will automatically follow the target within its seeker field of regard. Before trying this though, let's first take a closer look at the AIM-9 format page on the left DDI.
I don't want to.
As with the AA gun, you have the remaining gun rounds and master arm indications. Along the wing form are indications for AIM-9 loading. 9L indicates stations with AIM-9L, and 9M indicates stations with AIM-9M. The selected station includes an SEL for selected below it. To cycle through AIM-9 stations, press the AIM-9 select switch on the weapon select switch, or press left shift S. This allows you to switch between AIM-9L and AIM-9M versions. When you are ready, press spacebar and I will unpause the lesson. You now have 2 MiG-29 drone targets ahead of you. Fly to place the reticle over one of them until you hear a higher pitched lock tone. You can either launch an AIM-9 now by pressing the trigger on the stick or spacebar.
Splash one, splash.
Or initiate a self-track by pressing the cage-uncage button on the throttle or pressing C. Once self-tracking, launch an AIM-9. It may take more than one to bring down the MiG. Splash 1. Keep an eye on the second MiG-29 and follow it. We will use a radar-slaved track for that one. Follow the second drone. To lock up the second drone on radar, press up on the sensor select switch or press right alt and semicolon. This will place the radar in air combat maneuvering or ACM mode.
Where's he at? Where's he at? Where's he at? Where's he at? I lost eyes. Okay, there you are. Wow. Missile away. Locked him. Splash. Tally 2. Alright, all, and whatever the fuck this is.
Keep following the second drone. When ACM mode is first selected, the boresight auto acquisition mode is selected. This
Success, we shot down 2 aircraft. Yay! Yep, we're good. We're good. All right. Yeah, that's it. Thanks, guys. Bye-bye.